How you doing, YouTube? This is AUAG Prepper coming at you with another video. In today's video, I'm going to go into a little bit more of a detail on why I believe the month of August and this year is going to be the year of chaos and civil unrest. In the last video, I gave a small example why I believe that, but in the next 8 videos that I'm going to make is going to go into more detailed example of why I believe August is going to be the month of this year of the chaos. So before we start, I'm going to go ahead and show you my coins that I got over the years. It's my little collection of Peace Dollars and Morgans. And also, we're going to be talking about, subliminal message-wise, we're going to be talking about Old Town Road, the video, and how it pertains to the month of August and 2019 as a whole, as a big date. So let's go ahead and get started. Got a 1935, but AU condition. And those of you who know your coins, this is a good key date. They made a little bit over 1 million of these, I believe. Also, I have very fines to extra fine, more of 1835s. Yeah, that's a good one right there. It's not bad at all. Say extra fine, maybe AU, maybe. I also have a few of them up here. I also have a two 1927s. They made 800,000 of these, which is awesome. This is definitely AU, very good coin. I also have some good condition Morgans. Let's see. Pick this little fellow up right here. 1889. Very good coin. I'll show you the rest of these over here. I also got this one. This is my best one, my most expensive one too. 1893. Oh. They only made about 300,000 of these. I bought it for $25. Got really blessed with this one. And those who know their coins, you guys know this is a good one. I also got a few more of these. All right. Also, before I get started, I'm going to be talking about gold and silver and the devaluation that took place in the late 1800s. They wanted to start it much earlier than that, but you had characters and individuals throughout history that were basically stopping them. Truth Never Told, if I'm saying it right, Truth Never Told goes into detail of who these characters are, and that's Napoleon and Andrew Jackson. They fought against the banks in the mid-1800s, and Andrew Jackson even stopped them from establishing their, I guess you could say, the Federal Reserve. And then they came in, and unfortunately, in early 1900s, which is 1913, I believe, the Federal Reserve was established. But they started devaluing gold and silver in the late 1800s. That's basically was the era of the end of the Wild Wild West. Because what was happening is that a lot of individuals, when gold and silver started to get devalued, and the business side of things, of the currency system and the debt system, was increasing more and more, people were basically leaving the countryside and going to the cities. So it was basically a paradigm shift of true wealth going into false wealth, or a debt monetary system over time. It was a very slow paradigm shift, a very, very slow paradigm shift. And little by little, they were just devalue gold and silver to a point where they even depegged it completely in 1971 with Nixon. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with this video. I'm going to give a little bit more of a history note, because in order to understand this video, you need to know the subliminal messages and history. You must, because if you don't know this whole video will go right over your head. Also, let's see what else. Before we start, I can even show you a picture of the late 1800s, which is right here. Late 1800s. The silver and gold started becoming devaluing. See that? And then in modern times, in 1870 to early 1880s, you had the Hunt brothers that skyrocketed the silver price. and then it came back down to another bear market in 2008 to 2011. It shot up again. Now, just to give you an example, $20 back then in 2008 to 2011 is basically roughly $40 today. But back in the late 1800s, $20 was like the equivalent of like $2,000 or maybe $4,000. And the reason for that is because back during the Louisiana Purchase, we can get a better idea of how much purchase power silver had. It took 1 ounce of silver just to purchase a few acres of land. And you can even look that up. It's called the Louisiana Purchase. Truth Never Told also goes in detail with his channel. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, in the video, in the thumbnail, you can see Lil Nas holding up the bag of silver. And the reason why I know it's a bag of silver, we're going to go into detail with that. But he's holding up the bag of money, and in the thumbnail, basically saying that this is going to be a new thing in the future, basically. And I'll go ahead and show you that. Now, this is a movie that they made to basically featuring their song Old Town Road, and they made a movie out of it. Now, in the movie, when you watch a movie, you're going to watch it the character as the character that he is in the movie, not as the person in real life. Does that make sense? Like when, for example, when Nicolas Cage does a movie, plays a certain actor, you're going to see him as the actor, not as Nicolas Cage in the movie. All right, that should be common sense. 1889 was basically the start of the devaluing of gold and silver, and we just went over that. And it's funny because the title is Old Town Road, and when he sings the song, he says, "I'm going to take my horse to the Old Town Road." Now, just to give you an example of a horse. Cars, when you're driving your car has horsepower. The reason why they got that from the Wild Wild West, where people use transports of what? Horses. So I'm going to take my horse to the Old Town Road, which means the old ways, how things used to be, and a road being like a path, a guidance of what you're trying to achieve. For example, if you're trying to be a cop or a doctor or a nurse, you're taking a certain path to try to finish to become that doctor. So I'm taking my horse to the old ways used to be, to the Old Town Road, the old ways how it used to be. You see? So he's taking his horse to the old pathway. All right. Now he brings the money up. Now in this song, that he's cowboys. They're being chased by the deputy and the sheriff and his deputies. He brings the bag up and he jerks onto it, and you can hear the sound of the bag. It has a cha-ching sound. Now, interesting enough is that the cha-ching, when someone goes cha-ching, that means they're showing that they have money. You know, they go cha-ching. Now, cha-ching is a form used for to basically characterize silver. It was an example for silver, to have a bag of silver. Now, I have copper and nickel bags, and when I jerk them up and down, they don't make that sound. But if you jerk silver up and down, they make that sound. It's like a cha-ching sound, or almost like a bell sound. So they stop chasing him, and then they basically run off. Now they go to this home where there's a prospector at. And the reason why I know he's a prospector because he has a gold mine next to his home. Now, if you know your history, prospectors and cowboys used to get in many fights and gunfights because cowboys would go into prospectors' land to try to steal their gold. And this is the reason why you're not going to understand the song unless you know the subliminal messages and the history of everything.
That should be fine. We'll settle in here for the night.
You see, you hear him slam the coins on the ground. You can even hear the cha-ching sound again. Sounds just like silver. And us as silver stackers, which most of the people who are going to be watching this will know what I'm talking about. So the prospector shoots at the cowboy because he's thinking that he's going to steal his gold. And the reason why we know he's a prospector is because he jumps into a gold mine And as you can see here, the sparkles of what? The sparkles of gold. So he goes to, starts heading towards the end of the tunnel to try to escape the prospector. And you can see almost like a black space, almost like this, if you look up in the sky. And interesting enough, when a solar eclipse happens and the moon covers the sun, everything becomes what? Black, dark. And you can see here, we had a solar eclipse on July 2nd, 2019. The reason why this is important to know is because when he goes into this tunnel, it teleports him to a new year. Not 1889, but teleports him to 2019. That's exactly 130 years from 1889. And you can see this. We had a solar eclipse on July 2nd, 2019. Now, interesting enough is that July 2nd is our true date of our independence. It's not July 4th. We just celebrate July 4th because the mailing system back then was basically 24 to 48 hours of receiving mail. It was very slow. So they got the notice that they won the war literally over 24 hours late, and then they celebrate on July 24th instead. So here appears to be a solar eclipse, and you can see more examples. So you have that example here, so you can see it, and even some more up here. See that? See that? Very, very obvious. So we know that he goes into the future, and you have to ask yourself what time period that he comes to the future. Now we know that's a solar eclipse, but there's only one solar eclipse in 2019, so we know that he surpassed the solar eclipse. So it could have been July, it could have been August, could have been September. Now 2019 from 1889, that's exactly 130 years. If you look up 130, the meaning of 130 in the Bible, 130 means a curse. A curse of what? A curse of the monetary system, of the debt system. So anyone who has currency, when this whole thing goes down and we have our market crash, our currency system is going to go to crap, which is going to devalue the currency and cause to be a curse to many people who put their faith in it. Now in the song he says, "You can't tell me nothing." You have to remember, he came back from the past. He still has a cowboy mentality, and he also has a mentality of what they perceive as what is real money. So his conflict of thinking has a conflict of what they believe, or what the modern man believes. You can't tell me nothing. He's holding the currency system. You see that? He has currency. He's putting his faith in money. So if he's talking to any of these guys, they're gonna have conflict. So you can't tell me nothing, because he ain't gonna change his ways. So he went into the future. He has no money. He left the silver with his buddy after they robbed the bank. So he has to do little shenanigans like racing in order to get some money. He ends up winning. He gets the currency from the guy, and he goes to a store to buy some cowboy clothes because, well, he goes to the store to buy some clothes, but he doesn't reform to the ways of this world. He stays in the mentality of the past, and he buys the cowboy clothes. He just upgrades it, if that makes sense. More of a modern sense, see? No one can tell me nothing. Now, interesting note is that Billy Ray Cyrus comes up with a Maserati, and he has the silver in his hand, which means he came from the past as well, somehow. I don't know how, but he did. And he came with the silver. Now, he didn't have any money, so what did he use to get the car and the clothes? Well, look at the silver. How much silver did he use to get the car and the clothes? Not much. You can see he used probably a little dip there, but that's about it. So basically what the powers that be are telling us is that silver is going to be very, very valuable in the near future, sometime in 2019. And I believe it's going to be past August, and most likely by the time we get to December, 1 ounce of silver could be worth easily anywhere from 200 to 500 and maybe even more. And that's dollars, by the way. And if it does get to that price, then all this does make sense. It makes perfect sense. Him coming back in 2019. If he came back at the very end of 2019, the price of value of silver will be much more. Makes perfect sense. Going back to the Old Town Road, the things the way they used to be. See, so the silver and the bag of silver in the air, showing that this is going to be the stuff of the future. Subliminal messages. That's basically the end of the song. All right, so we already had the meaning of basically devaluation of gold and silver, and how it pertains to the song as well, and why they pick certain dates. It's not a coincidence how the powers that be picked the late 1800s as the key date, or 1889 as the key date of the start of this song. You know, the Wild West was going on way before that, so they could have easily picked any other year, but they decided to pick that one. In the next video, we're going to go into more detail on basically why August will be the month, and other subliminal messages that ties in with this as well. And that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And the next time we're going to talk about the next video. We'll talk about Counting Stars and One Republic. If you haven't heard that song, and it pertains to basically this. And just to give you a small history, another history note. Basically, people back in ancient times, they believed that gold came from the stars. They believe also silver came from the stars as well. And you can even read it here in the article. It says, after long believing that exploding stars forged the coveted metal, researchers are now divided over which extraordinary cosmic event is truly responsible. So basically, after long ago, ancient people believed that gold and silver came from these stars, and they called it star money. So we'll go into detail in that with that song, and that's a very should be a very quick video because it doesn't talk about much really, as Old Town Road was more of a subliminal message. Okay, have a good one. Signing out.